Blood pools black under the streetlight. The smell hits Rochelle first, copper mixed with something expensive, cologne maybe, or the leather from a suit worth more than her car. She stops. Her feet refuse to move forward even though every cell in her body screams run. The man's chest rises. Falls. Rises again, slower this time. 3 a.m. Philadelphia doesn't forgive witnesses. Rochelle knows this. She's walked these streets for 7 years, third shift at St. Augustine's, mopping floors while doctors sleep in on-call rooms. She's seen enough to know when to look away. Before we start, make sure to hit like and subscribe, and really I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. But his hand twitches. Fingers spread against the wet pavement like he's reaching for something just out of reach. She counts the wounds, 6, maybe 7 stab marks through his shirt, dark patches spreading across fabric that probably cost a month of her wages. Her knees hit the ground before her brain catches up. Don't die on me. Her voice comes out steady, surprising her. Her hands press against the worst wound, just below his ribs. Warm blood pulses between her fingers. She's done this before, not in a hospital, not officially, but in an alley much like this one when her brother Malik bled out waiting for an ambulance that took 23 minutes to arrive in their neighborhood. The man's eyes snap open. Ice blue. Sharp despite the pain. Why? The word bubbles out with blood at the corner of his mouth. Rochelle presses harder. Because everybody deserves a chance. His lips twist into something that might be a smile if he wasn't dying. Wrong answer. She ignores him, rips off her jacket, wadding it against the wounds. Her phone's in her hand, 911 already dialing. She gives the address, describes the injuries in clinical terms that make the dispatcher pause, ask if she's medical personnel. Just hurry. She hangs up. The man's watching her with an intensity that makes her skin crawl. Like he's cataloging every detail, storing her face in some mental file. His suit's tailored, expensive. His watch catches the streetlight. Patek Philippe, she thinks, though she only knows because a doctor at the hospital wore one and wouldn't shut up about it. This man doesn't belong in this alley. Neither does she, not anymore. Sirens wail in the distance, getting closer. Rochelle stands. Her hands shake, slick with his blood. She backs away, melting into the shadows between the buildings. The last thing she sees before she turns the corner is his eyes, still watching, still measuring, still remembering. She doesn't see the camera mounted above the alley entrance. Doesn't see its red light blinking. Doesn't see it recording everything. Her face, her hands, the exact moment she chose to save a man who should have died. Would anyone else make the same choice she just did? The mop handle feels heavier than usual. Rochelle pushes it across the third-floor hallway, same pattern she's traced 5 nights a week for 7 years. Left to right. Overlap the strokes. Don't miss the corners. Her back aches. Her feet throb in shoes held together with duct tape on the inside where no one can see. 48 hours since the alley. She hasn't slept right. Every time she closes her eyes, she sees ice blue staring back. The elevator dings behind her. 4 men step out. Not doctors. Their suits are too sharp, too dark, cut in a way that suggests violence hidden underneath. They move like dancers, synchronized, predatory. The hallway suddenly feels smaller. Rochelle keeps mopping. Eyes down. Invisible, like always. They form a half-circle around her. Close enough that she can smell their cologne, see the bulges under their jackets that definitely aren't phones. Ms. Washington. The one in front has silver hair and a scar bisecting his left eyebrow. His voice is soft, almost polite. That makes it worse. My name is Dmitri. Mr. Konstantin Volkov requests your presence. The mop handle slips from her hands. Hits the wet floor with a clatter that echoes. Konstantin Volkov. The ghost of Brighton Beach. The man who owns half the eastern seaboard without technically owning anything. The man whose name gets whispered in hospital break rooms when someone important comes in with injuries that don't match their story. I don't know what you're talking about. Her voice comes out steadier than she feels. Dimitri's smile doesn't reach his eyes. We can do this the pleasant way, Ms. Washington. Or we can do this the other way. Mr. Volkov is not a patient man, but he is, for now, grateful. The for now hangs in the air like a noose. She doesn't have a choice. She knows it. They know it. The other three men haven't said a word, haven't moved, but she can feel their attention like weight pressing against her chest. Lead the way. She drops the mop. It clatters against the bucket. They escort her to the elevators, then higher. Past the floors she's allowed to clean. Past the wards where real nurses work. All the way to the top floor, where she's only glimpsed through doorways that close too quickly. The penthouse suite doesn't look like a hospital room. Marble floors. Original artwork on the walls. She recognizes a Rothko, or at least something that looks like a Rothko. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Philadelphia's skyline, city lights glittering like broken glass. Silk curtains. Leather furniture. The kind of wealth that doesn't announce itself because it doesn't have to. Her shoes, cheap, worn, ugly, squeak against the marble. Dimitri stops in front of a set of double doors. Knocks twice. A voice from inside, accented, controlled. Send her in. The doors open. Konstantin Volkov sits propped against silk pillows like a king holding court. Bandages peek out from under his hospital gown, but he wears it like armor. His face, she recognizes it now, the sharp cheekbones, the aristocratic nose that's been broken and reset, holds no trace of the pain he must be in. His ice blue eyes lock onto hers. Every molecule of air leaves the room. What would you do if the person you saved turned out to control everything you thought you knew? Konstantin raises one hand. Dimitri and the others disappear, the doors clicking shut with a sound like a coffin closing. Silence fills the space between them. Rochelle forces herself to meet his gaze. She's spent 38 years being invisible, being dismissed, being told without words that she doesn't matter. Not this time. You came back. His English is perfect, just a trace of Russian underneath like distant thunder. I didn't have a choice. There's always a choice, Rochelle Washington. He says her name like he's tasting it, deciding if it's worth remembering. You made one 3 nights ago. You made one just now walking through those doors. Both times you could have run. She crosses her arms. And go where? Men like you find women like me when you want to. Something flickers across his face. Men like me. Women like you. You think you understand the categories. I've lived them my whole life. Then you understand nothing. He shifts, winces, but his eyes never leave hers. 3 nights ago, my nephew, Alexei, raised like my own son, groomed to inherit everything I built, made a deal with the Sicilians. They were supposed to gut me in that alley like an animal, leave me to bleed out in the trash where I started. He calculated that the disrespect, the humiliation of my death would fracture my organization. He was wrong. Konstantin's voice drops, goes cold. But that's irrelevant now. Rochelle's heart hammers against her ribs. What do you want from me? The person who saved me wasn't one of my soldiers. Wasn't one of my carefully placed allies. Wasn't anyone who owed me loyalty or fear. He leans forward slightly. It was a custodian. A woman society has decided doesn't exist. So you're here to thank me? She doesn't bother hiding the sarcasm. Appreciate it. Can I go now? His smile is a knife. You think I want to harm you. Experience suggests it. Experience has made you cynical. Good. He pauses. I want to offer you something, Rochelle Washington. Something you've been denied your entire life. What's that? The word drops like a stone into still water. Power. The air shifts. Charges. Rochelle tastes copper on her tongue like she's bitten through skin. Power. The word sounds foreign in her mouth, in her life, in any future she's ever imagined for herself. What kind of power? Her voice barely whispers. Konstantin's eyes bore into hers, and she realizes with a jolt that this isn't gratitude. This isn't even really an offer. This is recruitment. The word hangs between them, power and Rochelle can't swallow past the tightness in her throat. Constantine shifts against the pillows, his hand pressing briefly against his bandaged ribs. My world is bleeding, Ms. Washington. I need a surgeon, not another soldier. I'm not a surgeon. I'm a custodian. You have medical training. I make it my business to know everything. He tilts his head. 2 years of nursing school before your brother died and the bills buried you. You could have finished. You chose survival instead. I respect that. The mention of Malik hits like a fist to the stomach. Don't talk about my brother. Why? Because it reminds you what this city takes from people like us? His accent thickens slightly. I came here with nothing. 16 years old. Now I control shipping routes, construction contracts, waste management across 5 states. You think I did that with a business degree? Rochelle wants to look away but doesn't. What do you want? $50,000. He says it like it's nothing. Like it's not more money than she's made in 2 years combined. That's what I'll pay you to monitor my recovery. Stay close. Watch my inner circle. Tell me what you see. Her breath catches. You want me to spy? I want you to observe. No one sees custodians, Rochelle. No one suspects them. Your invisibility is your greatest asset. He pauses. Someone close to me is still working with Alexei. I need your eyes to find them. And if I say no, then you walk out that door, go back to mopping floors, and spend the rest of your life wondering what if. His voice softens, but not with kindness. You were already trapped, Rochelle. Debt traps you. Poverty traps you. This city traps you. I'm offering you a key. She thinks of her student loans. $80,000 at 8% interest, growing faster than she can breathe. She thinks of Malik's grave, still without a proper headstone because she can't afford the $600. She thinks of her apartment with its broken heater, her shoes with their hidden duct tape, her future stretching out identical and empty. I saved your life, and now I'm trapped in your world? Constantine's laugh is bitter. You saved my life, and now you're valuable in my world. There's a difference. I need 24 hours to think. You have 12. His voice hardens. After that, people will start asking questions about the woman who was in that alley. Questions I can answer. He pauses. Or not. The thread wraps around her like silk, soft and suffocating. 12 hours? She repeats. 12 hours, Rochelle Washington. Choose carefully. Dimitri materializes at the door like he's been listening the whole time. Probably has been. She follows him to the elevator, her mind spinning, her heart racing, her hands shaking with something that might be fear or might be the first taste of possibility. Could you walk away from a chance to finally matter, even if it meant becoming someone you never thought you'd be? Tasha's apartment smells like wine and worry. She pours 2 glasses before Rochelle finishes explaining, her dark eyes getting wider with every sentence. Girl. Tasha sets the bottle down hard. You did not just tell me you saved a mob boss. I didn't know who he was. And now he wants to hire you? Tasha's voice climbs an octave. To do what exactly? Rochelle takes a long drink. The wine tastes expensive. Tasha always buys expensive wine when she's stressed. Watch his people. Tell him who he can trust. That's called being an informant, Ro. That's how people disappear. I've been disappearing my whole life, Tash. The words come out sharper than intended. At least this way I get paid for it. Tasha leans back, studying her. They've been friends since high school, since before Rochelle gained the weight that made the world decide she was invisible. Tasha sees her. Always has. How much is he offering? 50,000. Tasha chokes on her wine. 50. She coughs. Girl, that's suspicious as hell. Rochelle pulls out her phone, types Konstantin Volkov into Google. The results load slowly on Tasha's spotty Wi-Fi. Images first, charity galas, ribbon cuttings, handshakes with politicians who smile too wide. Then articles. Alleged ties to organized crime. Investigation closed due to lack of evidence. Witnesses refused to testify. One photo shows him at a children's hospital opening, check in hand, expression carefully neutral. Another shows him leaving a courthouse, his lawyer's hand on his shoulder, photographers swarming. He's dangerous, Tasha says quietly. He's rich. Those aren't mutually exclusive. Tasha refills both glasses. What happens if you say no? He implied people might start asking questions about who helped him. That's a threat. That's reality. Rochelle sets her glass down. I'm 38, Tasha. I'm broke. I'm invisible. I work a job that makes my back scream and my soul die a little every single day. I watch nurses younger than me do the work I trained for because directors decided my face didn't fit their brand. Her voice cracks. What exactly am I walking away from? My rich, fulfilling life? Tasha reaches across the table, grabs her hand. You're walking away from safety. I've never been safe. Neither have you. Neither was Malik. The name still hurts. Maybe it's time I stopped pretending that playing by the rules will ever work for people who look like us. They sit in silence. The wine bottle empties. The clock on Tasha's wall ticks toward midnight. Rochelle's phone buzzes. Unknown number. Her stomach drops. She knows before she opens it what she'll see. The text reads, Your 12 hours are up. A car is waiting outside. Choose. She walks to the window. Down on the street, a black SUV idles against the curb. Tinted windows. Engine running. Patient as death. Row. Tasha's voice shakes. Don't. But Rochelle is already reaching for her jacket. What would you choose? A safe life that's killing you slowly, or a dangerous one that might finally make you feel alive? The SUV's leather seats feel like butter against Rochelle's legs. Her hands won't stop shaking. She presses them against her thighs, but they tremble anyway, visible proof that she's crossing a line she can't uncross. The driver doesn't speak. Doesn't look at her through the rearview mirror. Just drives through Philadelphia like he's done this 1,000 times, probably has, moving through streets that get cleaner with every turn until the potholes disappear and the row homes give way to brownstones with actual gardens. Rittenhouse Square. Old money. The kind of neighborhood where people don't just live, they exist in a different dimension of wealth. The brownstone has ivy crawling up red brick. Gas lamps flank the entrance. 3 stories of windows that probably cost more to clean than Rochelle makes in a month. The door opens before she reaches it. A woman stands in the entrance, 60, maybe older, with silver hair pulled back tight and eyes that measure Rochelle in one sweep. Russian, judging by her cheekbones and the set of her mouth. Ms. Washington. Her accent is thick but her English clear. I am Maria. Please come. The interior steals Rochelle's breath. High ceilings with original crown molding. Hardwood floors that gleam. A painting on the wall that might be real, abstract, all bold reds and blacks, the kind museums keep behind velvet ropes. He speaks of you, Maria says, leading her up a curved staircase. The woman who did not run. Should I have? Maria's smile is sad. Most do. The second floor opens into a hallway lined with doors. Maria stops at the last one, knocks twice, then pushes it open. The bedroom suite is larger than Rochelle's entire apartment. King bed. Sitting area. Windows overlooking a private garden. And standing by those windows, shirt hanging open to reveal white bandages stark against pale skin, Constantine. He shouldn't be standing. Doctor's orders would have him in bed for another week at least. But here he is, backlit by afternoon sun, looking at her like he knew exactly when she'd arrive. You came. Not a question. A statement of fact. Didn't seem like I had much choice. There's always a choice, Rochelle. He moves away from the window, winces slightly, catches himself on the back of a chair. You could have run. Could have called the police. Could have done 100 things that would have made your life harder but kept you out of mine. She doesn't answer. Can't. You'll stay here, he continues. Monitor my recovery. But more importantly, watch my people. Dmitri you've met. Loyal to his bones. Then there's Yuri, head of security, paranoid, trusts no one. And Alexei. His voice hardens on the name. My accountant. Brilliant with numbers. Nervous lately. Too nervous. You think he's working with your nephew? I think someone is. I need your eyes to tell me who. He crosses to another door, opens it. Your room. Rochelle steps through and stops. The space is perfect. Not generic hotel perfect, but her perfect. Deep purple curtains, her favorite color, though she's never told anyone that. A bed with a thick comforter. A desk by the window. And in the closet, visible through the open door, clothes. Her size. Her style. Comfortable but nice, nicer than anything she owns. How did you? I make it my business to know everything, Rochelle. He's closer now, close enough that she can smell something clean and expensive, see the fine lines around his eyes that suggest he smiles less than he should. He sways. Just slightly. But enough. Her hands catch him before her brain registers the movement. His skin is warm under her palms, solid muscle beneath the bandages. She's touched him before, in the alley, but that was different. That was survival. This is... His face is inches from hers. Ice blue eyes searching, finding something he wasn't expecting. You're stronger than you look, he says quietly. People always underestimate me. His hand covers hers where it rests against his chest. His heartbeat pulses against her palm, steady, strong, alive because of her. Good. His voice drops to almost a whisper. Let them. The air between them shifts, becomes something else, something dangerous. Rochelle feels it, the pull, the impossibility, the recognition that she's in far deeper than $50,000, deeper than a job, deeper than anything she meant to agree to. When everything you thought you knew about yourself starts to crack, do you run from who you're becoming or run toward it? 3 weeks disappear like water through her fingers. Rochelle falls into rhythms she didn't know she was capable of, waking early, checking Constantine's vitals, changing bandages with efficiency that surprises even her. The wounds are healing well. Better than well. The man has the constitution of someone half his age. But she's not here to be a nurse. She's here to watch. Dmitri arrives every morning at 7 sharp. Silver hair always perfectly combed, scar a white slash across his eyebrow. He brings reports, speaks in rapid Russian, switches to English when Rochelle enters the room. His loyalty is absolute. She can see it in how he positions himself between Constantine and the door, how his hand never strays far from whatever weapon he keeps under his jacket. Not Dmitri. Yuri comes twice a day, updates on security, personnel movements, threat assessments. He's younger, maybe 40, with the kind of awareness that comes from surviving situations that killed others. His eyes track every movement, catalog every person. He nods to Rochelle but doesn't speak unless necessary. Not Yuri either. Then there's Alexei. The accountant is thin, nervous, with hands that shake when he thinks no one is watching. He shuffles papers, adjusts his glasses, avoids direct eye contact. When Constantine asks questions, Alexei's answers come too fast, like he's rehearsed them. Rochelle watches from her corner, invisible again, and sees everything. What do you think? Constantine asks one evening after Alexei leaves. They're alone in his study, her changing the dressing on his ribs, him pretending the intimacy doesn't affect him. He's scared. Of me? Of getting caught. She secures the bandage. His left hand tremors when you ask about offshore accounts. He over-explains simple questions. And yesterday, when Dmitri mentioned your nephew's name, Alexei's pulse jumped. I could see it in his neck. Constantine's eyes hold hers. You see what others miss. That's what happens when you're invisible your whole life. You're not invisible to me. The words land heavier than they should. Rochelle's hands still against his skin. The study suddenly feels smaller, warmer, charged with something neither of them is naming. Their conversations have been deepening, moving past business into territory that feels personal, dangerous. He asks about Malik, about the night her brother died waiting for an ambulance that arrived too late. She tells him things she hasn't told Tasha, hasn't told anyone. He tells her about arriving in America at 16 with nothing but the clothes on his back and a phone number for a cousin who turned out to be dead. About building an empire from survival instincts and calculated violence. About his wife, Elena, who died of cancer 2 years ago. She was good, he says one night, his accent thickening with exhaustion. Kind. Believed in me when I was nothing. She would have liked you. How do you know? Because she always saw people others missed too. The crack in his armor shows. Just for a moment. Just enough. Late one night, Rochelle finds him in his study, surrounded by papers, exhausted in a way that makes him look almost human. I'm tired, he admits. Doesn't look at her. Tired of being the monster everyone needs me to be. She should leave. Should maintain distance. Should remember this is a job, a transaction, $50,000 and nothing more. Instead, she moves closer. Then don't be one with me. The silence stretches. His hand reaches up, fingers brushing her cheek with unexpected gentleness. His thumb traces the curve of her jaw like he's memorizing the shape of her face. The moment expands, becomes something neither of them planned for. The door crashes open. Alexei stands there, face pale, phone clutched in his shaking hand. Boss. We have a problem. His voice cracks. Your nephew knows she's here. Have you ever felt the exact moment when safety becomes danger, when everything you thought you controlled starts controlling you instead? The photographs spread across Constantine's desk like evidence at a crime scene. Rochelle's face, captured in a dozen different moments, leaving the brownstone, walking to the corner store, sitting in the garden. Her apartment building. Her route to Tasha's place. Tasha herself, getting into her car, unaware she's being catalogued, marked. Constantine's rage is cold. Colder than she's ever seen. His voice drops to something lethal, something that makes even Dmitri step back. How long? Alexei's hands shake so hard he can barely hold his phone. I don't know, I swear I just found out. How long? A week. Maybe more. The accountant looks like he might throw up. They've been watching since she moved in. Constantine turns to Rochelle. His face could be carved from ice. You need to leave. Tonight. I'll pay you everything, set you up somewhere safe. Atlanta, maybe, or Phoenix. Somewhere far from this. No. This isn't negotiable. I'm not running. Her voice comes out steadier than she feels. I'm tired of running. You don't understand what you're saying. He moves closer, and she sees fear there. Actual fear. Not for himself, for her. My nephew wants to hurt me. The best way to hurt me is through you. Then protect me. I'm trying to. No. You're trying to send me away. She holds his gaze. There's a difference. Something shifts in his expression. He turns to Dmitri. Full security. Around the clock. She doesn't leave without 2 men minimum. Sweep the brownstone again. Check every camera, every line, every entrance. Boss. Do it. Within an hour, Rochelle's things are moved from her room to a space adjoining Constantine's. Yuri positions guards at every exit. The house transforms into a fortress, beautiful but locked down tight. That night, Constantine finds her standing by the window of her new room, looking out at the garden she can no longer safely walk through. I need to tell you something. He stands in the doorway, silhouetted by hallway light. This is who I am, Rochelle. Not the man who reads in the study or asks about your brother. That man exists, but he's not the whole truth. I've killed people. Ordered deaths. Made choices that kept me awake with guilt until I learned to stop feeling guilt at all. And I'll kill more. Including my nephew. She turns to face him. Are you trying to scare me away? I'm trying to be honest. Then here's my honesty. She crosses the space between them. I can live with complicated. I can live with a man who does terrible things for reasons I might even understand. What I can't live with is more years of being nothing. Of taking up space and apologizing for it. Of being invisible while the world tells me I don't deserve better. His jaw tightens. You deserve better than me. Maybe. But I'm choosing you anyway. He pulls her close then, his lips finding hers with a desperation that feels like surrender. She kisses back, tasting the impossibility of it, the wrongness that feels more right than anything in her life ever has. Her phone vibrates in her pocket. They break apart. She pulls it out with shaking hands. Tasha's name on the screen. But the message reads, "Tell Volkov his nephew says hello. Could you forgive yourself if your choice to finally live put the person you love most in the crossfire?" Tasha's been taken. The words don't make sense at first. Rochelle reads the text again, then again, her brain refusing to process what her eyes see clearly. Constantine takes the phone from her hands before she drops it. Reads the message. His face goes blank, not calm, but empty, like every emotion has been locked away in a vault only violence can open. Get Dmitri. Get Yuri. Get everyone. His voice could cut glass. This ends tonight. All of it. The next hour moves in fragments. Men appearing from nowhere. Weapons checked. Vehicles prepared. Constantine transforming from the man who touched her face gently into something else entirely. The ghost of Brighton Beach. The man who controls an empire through calculated fear. You're staying here, he tells Rochelle. Not asking. She's my family. Which is exactly why you're staying. If something happens to you, nothing's going to happen to me. She grabs his arm. But Tasha's alone and terrified because I made the choice to be here. I can't just wait. They compromise. She stays in the SUV with Yuri, watches through security feeds on a laptop that shows multiple camera angles of an abandoned warehouse near the port. The exchange happens at midnight. Constantine walks in alone, hands visible, no weapons showing. The warehouse is empty except for 3 figures, his nephew Alexei, 2 men flanking him, and between them, Tasha. Bound to a chair. Gagged. Alive. Rochelle's hands grip the laptop edge hard enough to hurt. Uncle. Alexei's voice comes through tinny on the speakers. I was beginning to think you wouldn't come. Let her go. Where's the woman? The fat one who thinks she matters? Constantine's posture doesn't change. You wanted me. Here I am. No. I want you broken first. I want you to lose everything. Your power, your reputation, your pet, before I kill you. Alexei's smile is vicious. Just like you did to my father. Your father stole from me. From us. He got what he earned. He got a bullet in an alley. And now you'll get the same. The cameras capture what happens next in brutal clarity. Alexei's men move. Constantine moves faster. The violence is efficient, economical, terrifying in its precision. 2 shots. 2 bodies dropping. Then Constantine has Alexei by the throat, pressing him against a concrete pillar. Rochelle can't hear what he says, but she sees Alexei's face go from angry to terrified to empty. Dmitri appears from the shadows, cuts Tasha loose. She collapses into his arms, sobbing. Constantine drops his nephew. Walks away. Doesn't look back when Dmitri finishes what he started. 20 minutes later, Tasha is in the SUV, shaking, wrapped in Rochelle's arms. What the hell have you gotten into? She keeps asking. What the hell, Ro? Constantine returns covered in someone else's blood. His shirt is ruined. His knuckles split open. His eyes hold something that might be grief, or might be relief, or might be both. He collapses into the seat across from them, lets his head fall back against the leather. For the first time since she's met him, he looks exhausted in a way that goes beyond physical. Rochelle reaches across the space between them. Takes his damaged hand in hers. My nephew is dead. His voice is empty. Are you still here? She uses her sleeve to wipe blood from his cheek, blood that isn't his, blood that marks exactly what he's capable of. I'm still here. When the person you love most shows you their worst self, and you choose them anyway, what does that say about who you're becoming? 2 months later, Rochelle stands in front of a full-length mirror wearing a dress that actually fits. Deep emerald green, tailored to her body instead of trying to hide it. The fabric moves when she moves, catches the light, makes her feel like she deserves to take up space. She does deserve it. She's starting to believe that now. The brownstone has become home. Her nursing classes are going well, online program, but legitimate, real, her dream finally within reach. Constantine pays the tuition, but she earns every grade. The distinction matters. Tasha visits weekly now, still suspicious, still protective, but she's seen the change in Rochelle. The way she holds herself. The way she speaks. The way the world finally seems to make room for her instead of the other way around. You look good, girl, Tasha admits over coffee in the garden. I mean, this whole situation is crazy and probably illegal and definitely dangerous. But you look happy. I am. That scares me. It scares me too. Rochelle takes her friend's hand. But I'm not apologizing for it anymore. Tonight is a charity gala. Children's Hospital fundraiser. Constantine insisted she come, not as staff, not as background, but as his partner. Both meanings of the word clearly implied. The ballroom glitters with Philadelphia's elite. Old money and new money and stolen money all mixing together under crystal chandeliers. Rochelle walks in on Constantine's arm, and people notice. They have to. She's no longer invisible. Rochelle Washington. Constantine introduces her to a city councilman, his hand steady on her back. My partner. The councilman's handshake is brief, his smile forced, but he shakes her hand. Acknowledges her. Treats her like she matters because Constantine has made it clear she does. Later, on a balcony overlooking the city, they're finally alone. I love you. He says it quietly, like the words cost him something. Maybe they do. Men like him don't give away vulnerabilities without risk. You're not a good man. She says it without judgment. Just fact. No. I'm not. You've killed people. Hurt people. Built an empire on things I'll never fully understand. Yes. And I love you anyway. The admission feels like jumping off a cliff, but she's been falling for weeks now. Might as well name it. What does that make me? Complicated. He pulls her close. Real. Mine. They go back inside, back to the party, back to playing roles that feel less and less like roles every day. At the brownstone later, she tends to a cut on his hand, nothing serious, just a nick from a champagne glass broken in some political handshake. The domesticity of it strikes her. They've moved from the alley to this, from dying to living, from invisible to seen. You saved my life, he says, watching her work. You gave me one. She looks out the window at Philadelphia's skyline, the city lights spreading in every direction. She's part of this now. Part of his world, his empire, his complicated, dangerous, impossible life. And somewhere along the way, she stopped apologizing for wanting it. The woman who was nothing became everything to the man who had everything. Not because he saved her, but because she saved herself by choosing to be seen. Even if it meant becoming someone she never thought she'd be. Even if it meant accepting darkness as part of the deal. Even if it meant loving a man the world calls a monster and finding in him something worth fighting for. She chose. And she'd choose it again. If this story moved you, if you've ever felt invisible or wondered what it would take to finally be seen, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We have more stories of transformation, redemption, and the complicated choices that define us. Drop a comment below. Have you ever made a choice that changed everything? Share your story. You never know who needs to hear it. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to feel less alone. Until next time, remember, everyone deserves a chance to be seen.